machine learning, deep learning, LLMs. It can get, a little confusing trying to figure out how they all actually relate to each other. So how do they all fit together? Is one a part of another? Are they totally different things? Let's clear up all that confusion and put every single one of these terms in its proper place.
Okay, to solve this puzzle, we've got to start with the biggest piece, right? The entire field that contains literally everything else, artificial intelligence itself.
Yeah, think of AI as the entire universe of this technology. It's this massive, all-encompassing concept that every other term we're going to talk about today lives inside of. At its core, it's really just about making machines that can think or act in ways that we would call intelligent. And you know what? This universe isn't new at all. AI has actually been around for decades. You might have even heard of one of the very first chatbots, Eliza, which could mimic human-like conversation way back in the mid-1960s. It's come a long way since then for sure, but that core idea has a really long history. Okay, so now let's zoom in from that huge universe to a major field within it. This is the one that's really powered most of the recent revolution. We're talking about machine learning. So, machine learning sits right inside of AI. And here's the key distinction. This is the important part. Instead of being explicitly programmed with a bunch of if-then rules, machine learning algorithms learn patterns directly from data to make their own decisions. This is the magic behind things you use every day, like your email spam filter or your streaming services recommendations. And machine learning itself is a super broad field. It's got a whole range of techniques. For example, some models learn from data that's already been labeled for them. Others are designed to find hidden patterns in totally unlabeled data. And some even learn through good old trial and error, just by interacting with an environment.
Right, now if we go a level deeper inside machine learning, there's an even more specialized approach, and this is the real engine behind the most powerful, mind-blowing breakthroughs we're seeing today.
And that, of course, brings us to deep learning. This is a very specific subset of machine learning that uses these really complex structures called artificial neural networks. The deep part of the name? Well, it comes from the fact that these networks have many layers stacked on top of each other, which allows them to find these incredibly intricate and subtle patterns in data. Now, this is super important to remember. Not all machine learning is deep learning. Not at all. Traditional ML methods are still absolutely essential, and honestly, sometimes they're the best approach for the job. But deep learning, it truly shines, it excels when you're dealing with just massive amounts of messy, unstructured data. We're talking about things like images, human language, or sound. So, the incredible power of deep learning has basically enabled a revolutionary new way of thinking, a totally different way of building AI that has changed everything in just the last few years. Welcome to the era of the foundation model. Okay, so what is a foundation model? Well, it's a specific type of deep learning model. The term itself was popularized by some researchers at Stanford back in 2021, and it describes these gigantic neural networks that have been pre-trained on just unfathomable amounts of data. You can think of them as this powerful general-purpose base that can then be adapted for countless different applications.
And the whole workflow here is just brilliantly efficient. Instead of having to build a brand new model from scratch for every single task, which is hugely expensive, you start with this powerful, pre-trained foundation. Then, you just fine-tune it for your specific need. This saves an absolutely incredible amount of time and resources. It's a game changer.
You've almost certainly heard of the most famous type, right? Large language models, or LLMs. Those are the ones that focus on text, but foundation models come in all sorts of flavors. You've got vision models that can see and interpret images, audio models for speech or even for composing music, and even super specialized scientific models used for really complex tasks, like figuring out how proteins fold. All of this creative potential, it brings us to our final and maybe the most famous buzzword of them all, generative AI. So the big question is, where does this thing fit on our mat?
Okay, and here's the key insight. Generative AI isn't another nested box in our diagram. It's not a type of model, it's a capability. It's what these incredibly advanced foundation models can do. It is the act of taking all that learned knowledge and using it to produce something totally new, something original. Okay, let's put it all together now. We've gone through all the pieces, so let's look at the complete map and make this whole thing crystal clear.
And there you have it, the complete map. It is a nested relationship, a hierarchy. Artificial intelligence is the entire universe. Inside that, you have machine learning. A specialized part of that is deep learning. And a powerful new paradigm that uses deep learning is the foundation model.
See, it's a direct, clear path from the broadest concept to the most specific.